What up, everybody? Happy 2025. Welcome to Late Night Live number 155. Kicking off our 2025 year of Late Night Lives. I cannot believe it is already the first week of February, and this is my first stream. Bonkers. An entire month has gone by, and I have been busy. Last week, I was very busy, but distracted. Last week, I think I learned, or I realized on Wednesday, that last week Tuesday was Tuesday, and I fully accidentally missed the stream. What's going on, Skeet? Hello, Sapphire Manga. Or Manga, sorry. Alright. Let's get warmed up. Shall we? Hello, Annie. I'm quite well, thank you. I'm good. Glad that everything works. When I was away for the holidays and for everything that happened after the holidays, most of my equipment has been sort of put away, just so it's not on display when I'm not around. And so everything got plugged all back in, and I had a few little computer issues last night and earlier today, but it seems to be resolved. How's the cold? It's not that cold, actually. It's pretty alright. I guess 2 days ago, Vancouver got its first bit of rain. Or sorry, not rain. We always get rain. We got our first bit of snow. It kind of came out of nowhere. I thought spring was just around the corner, and then before I knew it, snow. It snowed for a couple days almost straight, so the roads were a bit icy and crazy, but everything is alright. The weather doesn't seem super cold. Seems relatively mild still. Oh, I just realized I forgot to curl my mustache for the stream. That was one thing I was supposed to do before we went live. Whoops. Next time. I will admit, I have not been doing a ton of ornamental penmanship practice recently. I've been doing them, for the most part, just business penmanship practice, which feels very unlike myself. But I've been really enjoying business penmanship stuff lately. Specifically with my fountain pens. I have a feeling that stems from fact that I was just in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Pen Show, surrounded by beautiful, amazing fountain pens, and also my own awesome fountain pens. So that's been one of the, probably one of the reasons, but my main focus has been specifically on business penmanship and that movement and whatnot. I'm glad to hear there's been some drizzling in Southern California. Yeah, I'm assuming Southern California could use all the rain they can get, I would assume. Hello, Karina. Good evening, good evening. How are you? I realize I have no theme or anything today. I just turn the camera on and, excuse me, and we're just gonna write, basically. If anybody has any requests or things we should write or suggestions, then by all means shout them out. Do not disturb on there. Kind of treating this as my brush the dust off, or the rust. I don't feel super rusty because I have been writing, just not specifically shading and doing ornamental penmanship. Some signature design, a fair bit of leather foiling and whatnot, but not a whole lot of time for just nice ornamental penmanship practice. Yeah, what's the weather like in Montreal right now? Is it chilly? I know Alberta's winter has been, I think, relatively mild. A few days or weeks here or there that was colder, but when I was home with my family, it was quite nice. You can't wait for summer. I assume that means because you much prefer the warm weather to the cold weather, I would guess. Or is it because the Iampath convention is in the summer, and that's the whole reason I love summer so much. -18, well, that's not too bad, I guess. I mean, it's not warm by any stretch. "101, yep, I think. Yes, sharpened though. Should note that. I saw when I was in New York, I was looking at the New York Public Library at some of the Healy collection there, and I saw a bunch of 8s. I had always written my 8s like this, with the shade on the, wait, like that? Or the other way? No, that's always how I always wrote them. But I saw a lot that were the other way around. I've seen multiple times in books, either or is acceptable, but I realized I never write them I'll call it the reverse way. Because I guess in printing I would write it either like that, or technically I usually do 2 circles. But I would go a figure 8 over to the left before making it. I've never done them in the reverse. But I saw a bunch of examples in books that had like, whoosh, this would like fly off really fast going that direction. Hello, Fozzie. How are you? Oof, I put the shade way too high. Too slow, maybe? Never been good at writing numbers. I need to work on my numbers. I always have to slow down a fair bit. When I do them, they don't feel like proper movement. How's it going, Brian? Nice to see you. Happy New Year. I know it feels silly. I'm wishing everybody a Happy New Year, and it's February. But I haven't talked to most people, yet this year. So Happy New Year. Oh, Fozzie, that's no good. What were you doing when you pulled your back? I feel like I saw on Instagram that you hurt yourself. How'd you do it? Hello, Sarah. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy to be live again. Uh-oh. Do you do lots of home physio? Exercising? Strengthen those muscles up again. Hello, Amir. Welcome, welcome. You were reaching over the table. Uh-oh. That's no good. You gotta make up a story like you were demonstrating yoga on a beach. Or something to that effect. Reaching over the table, and the table fought back. I fought the table, and the table won. That's what we want. Just like that. But just a heck of a lot smaller. That's usually how it works, I think, with injuries. I know as a dancer, that's what takes out all dancers pretty much. Anytime dancers get injuries, it's never because of a jump or a dance or something they did. It would be from walking downstairs or tripping over nothing on the sidewalk or something like that. Seems to be the way, unfortunately. That's good. Get all the physical therapy you can. I remember when I hurt my back, hurt my back. I fell out of a backflip a number of years ago, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't hardly move for 2 weeks, basically. My exercises were essentially just cat-cows on my arms and knees, but I could only do a few of them, and it was supposed to be about every hour I was supposed to do them. So I watched episode 1 to series finale of Breaking Bad. It was when it was just finishing. And then between each episode, I would do my exercises and then roll back over on the hardwood floor, watch the next episode. Episode would finish, do my exercises. That's where I slept, that's where I did everything. Chilling on the hardwood floor until I could walk again. That was crazy. No fun. But at least I hurt myself was doing a backflip, I guess. It luckily wasn't something super like I was grocery shopping or something like that. You know what they say, Fozzie? Life is supposed to be just a bit of silliness, really. So mundane and silly, at least it's silly. Silly's alright. Oh, somebody asked earlier, Sapphire Manga, am I going to Iampith? Yes, I am. Luckily, Iampith this year, I am free that week. I've never missed one, luckily. Thank goodness. Hopefully I never do have to miss one. But it happens the week after a week that I am very busy. So it's gonna be a busy couple weeks for me. I'll be traveling for work, and I might have to pack for that trip for Iampith as well. It might be a dance and a convention trip all in one, just so that because I don't know if I'll have time to come back home between the two trips, but we'll see. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to, where are we at? Norfolk. Oh, you did a calligraphy job while your back was sore? Kudos to you. That's serious. Boring sounds quite wonderful. That's how it works, Sarah. Sleep is the silent killer of our bodies when we get older. This year's gonna be fun. Next year? I don't know about next year. It might not be that great of a year. We'll see. Talk about pressure. No, 2026 is gonna be a fun one, I think. I'm very much looking forward to it. Hello, Reza. Welcome, welcome. Fun, 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 fun. It's Iampith. I'm always looking forward to Iampith. Gotta see what it's gonna take to get Fozzie to come and attend one of our Iampith conventions. Huh? Fozzie? Huh? Little trip over the ocean? For an Iampith? That's a weird U. Whoops. Yeah, understandable. I know the feeling. Must have been experimenting with. This paper has lines printed on it that I printed in very, very, very fine dots. But every once in a while, my ink, they're the classic laser jet dots that the ink won't stick to. But they're fine enough that I hardly see them. But I notice when there's little like hitches in the line, and it throws me off. I forget for a sec that there's lines printed on this paper. Whoa. too long on that exit. Got excited. Yeah, that's true, Fozzie. That's a good point. Hopefully that's short-lived. This is basically how, when I do my chill time, if my practice sort of goes in, well, we'll say 3 different ways. Either I'm super focused on like one stroke and it's very repetitive, and I get pages and pages and pages of just one specific stroke working on it. Or the sort of next slight level up in fun is if I'll usually listen to an audiobook or something like that. And then I just write random words as we're going. And then the third level, which is by far the most common, is completely playtime. And I'm just flourishing and going ridiculous all over the place, and it not stressed too much about form at all. But just having fun. But for the most part, my, we'll call it semi-casual practice, is picking up words from books, or if I have a TV show playing or a TV show playing on my second monitor here right in front of me, I'll often not be watching, but just listening to the discussions and conversation, and then picking out words. So I like, in the chat, choosing words or topics, and then writing those for fun. How do you flourish a V if it's going up and not exiting downwards? How do you flourish a V? So the exit stroke, I'm assuming you're meaning. You could do my favorite, relatively simple V flourish is like the one I did over there, like so. Going up and around. Because you know the standard V is just up with a hook there. So if you want to flourish, I don't know if I fully understand the question. It's going up and not exiting down. So are you meaning this is going up? I'm guessing that's what you're meaning. Your exit stroke is going up. So where do you go? You could do a horizontal loop above the baseline and above your X height and everything, potentially. You could go up there, and we know if we can do that, then this can keep going into all sorts of, it can go and keep flourishing in whatever angle we want. I usually don't flourish off the ending of the V all that much, with the exception of this flourish right, well, that's behind my picture. This flourish right here, just going over and around. I usually stick to that one, same thing I would do with like a W. How it just goes up and around. And then it's usually the beginning of the V that I wanted it to have a little more pizzazz. You would go just in the beginning, you could snazzy that up a bit. If you wanted to. Does that help? Is that the... So the exit won't mess with the downstroke. If it, like vegetables, so you have that G. Right. So really, yeah, if you, I guess one of two things if you're writing, or one of multiple things, but options if you're writing the word vegetable. You either make this large enough that you can do a descender like that fits inside, or your standard descender could fit in. Or with vegetable again, if you had it a little bit smaller, you could bisect that G. Nope, I'm lying. I thought that was gonna work, but it's totally not, because that's gonna mess with my descender. Bad idea. That was an example of what not to do. Give me a sec. Let me do what I was actually trying to do. Grab a glide sheet here real quick. Whoopsies. So you would keep it relatively large so the G can fit inside, but it doesn't have to be... It could be long, but it doesn't have to be super tall. So that if you did something like this... So there, that one's not, it's more of a extended widthwise oval. Because then if I did my E and my G, you could then thread a regular descender. You wouldn't want to do an abbreviated descender because it would get in the way. But you could definitely do a loop descender that threads through that one. But if you want it completely out of the way, I would do something like this up there. Keep it way up and out. If you have the foresight. For me, I never really look at the word before I start writing. So I just do a standard V and then ideally, fingers crossed, I made that loop large enough that the other lines can fit in there. Or that the G can fit in without too many issues. Hello! I'm gonna try to pronounce this name right. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Is it Delax Guevara? Delax Guevara. I'm gonna say we're gonna say that's how I say it. Welcome to your very first stream. Ah, you came from Rajiv's video. That's awesome. Love Rajiv. That was a fun time. Hopefully I get to film with him again one of these days. Trying to think, what else could you do for a V if you wanted to flourish to make things? So you could also do a super low oval. Like if you wanted to do something, I could imagine Mike Saul doing something like this in one of his crazy designs. If you did something... If you went, that's a bad example because this sheet got in the way. But if this came around and then this went into to continue the flourish going, but ideally low enough that you could still get an abbreviated G or another G. If this came low enough down here that you could fit other stuff in there. So I guess the key is if you have a descender coming to keep a goodly amount of space there. Oh, it could be Dale X Guevara. Dale X Guevara, possibly. It's a good guess, Fozzie. A very good guess. Reza, you want the main movements. I don't know exactly what you mean. Like the main basic shapes or forms? In lowercase or in capitals? Oh, there's an ad. Enjoy the ad, everybody. Adverts. So when it comes to lowercase letters, you really have your upstroke, your overturn, your underturn, your downstroke. And that's really, those are sort of the main three that make up most everything, because we have our overturn and our downstroke, our underturn and our downstroke. We can combine those two, like an overturn, a downstroke, overturn, downstroke, underturn, gives us an N. Underturn, downstroke, yeah, underturn, downstroke, undercurve, that gives us a U. Those are the main ones. We also have a little oval, which is essentially the way the old books teach it. This is an overturn on this side and an underturn. So it's starting with the overturn, but going the opposite direction that we did before, and then going into an underturn. I feel like that confuses things a little bit more, so I tend to just teach it as it's an oval. And I leave the overturn start from the baseline and go up to the right. But then that one is what gives us our O's. And then if we make that a little bit more angled, and then an underturn, downstroke, underturn, we get like our A. So those are the basic fundamentals. For the lowercase letters, I would grab a copy of any Palmer Method book, or Lessons in Ornamental Penmanship by P.Z. Bloser, or by C.P. Zahner. There's lots of free PDF books out there on the internet to grab. They show a lot of good examples of the principal strokes. I love that there was an ad just when Oja Swinney got here. That's how it works. That's what you get for being 30 minutes late. I also didn't drink my tea for 30 minutes. That is a yay, Fozzie. Being able to drive without painkillers is huge. Congratulations. Cars in my back alley sound so funny. Crunching over the ice. Not used to it this year. It's been super chill and nice. Chill. It's been a very mild winter here. Very wet, but very mild. Just last week, I was contemplating or thinking that it was almost going to be time to take my plants, some of them, and move them out to the balcony, but not anymore. Sorry, you're just Winnie. It's not my fault. I don't program the ads. I guess I kind of do. I choose their frequency. Did anybody set any 2025 New Year's, call them calligra goals? Anybody got any penmanship or calligraphy goals for the year? Out of curiosity? Did I write Rill and Babs? Sure. Let me grab a new sheet of paper. Well, here, I'll finish so I don't waste paper. I'll write something right here, and then we'll write Will and Babs. I have to tell you mine first. My calligraphy goals. So big calligraphy, well, I mean, goal that always exists is just to practice more, to put more time into my desk and into my writing and whatnot. Calligraphy wise, a lot of my goals this year are they end up being somewhat business related, but I don't make them goals for the sake of the business. Um, they're just a lot of things that happen to be a part of the business, like my list of t-shirt designs that I need to make and stuff like that, that I really want to dive into and get. There's just a lot of things that I've talked about a lot in the past, a lot of ideas in my little journal, and I want to bring a lot of those ideas and fun things to fruition. I need to put in the time to get them done. But if I had like a specific calligraphy goal, script wise, is to dedicate a lot of time and energy to studying and being able to write Roman capitals, is a huge goal of mine. It has been for many, many years, and I've been piece by piece working on them, but I would like this year to have that be a thing. And then I know there's many of the, call them quote unquote business ones. But I've said it many times. I make live videos here on YouTube, but I have a number of series listed they're right in here in my little book. That's my little brain dump of things of actual YouTube videos and YouTube series that I want to create and actually get done. Because the ideas are done, it's just a matter of now doing it. So that's basically 2025. Get off my butt and do it. 2024 was a lot of apartment stuff, was focusing on that, and then on work. I still have some work to focus on for the time being, but I need to stop procrastinating on my penmanship ideas and things. No more pencrastination. There, that's mine. Luckily, my list of things that are needing... Wow, this really didn't follow a baseline at all. Droopy. How much would you say you write currently, Skeet? You say your goal is to write every day. What would you say, how much do you think you write currently? Here we go. No lines on this one. Good. Well, that doesn't mean your goals are dead, Fozzie. We're only 1 month into the year. Your back's not gonna be dead the whole year. I don't imagine. So your back said, whoa, I'm not ready yet for these goals of yours. What were they? Curious. Oh, did I write that a little too far to the left? Sorry. Will and Babs. With a big old pen underneath. They're not penmen, but that's okay. Hello, Lori. I think you're okay if you only miss a couple days a week, Skeet. That's still pretty good average. Nice to see you, Lori. Long time no see. Happy New Year. Oh, just Winnie Engraving. That's fun. I saw Chin started doing engraving, and now I'm jealous. Chin does engraving. Skylar does engraving. I need to learn to do engraving. I have a lot of the tools. Well, some of the tools. I need the gravers is what I don't have. That's alright, Otis Winnie. You got a new job. You've been busy. And again, we're only 1 month in. That's not too shabby. You're very welcome. If it makes you feel any better, Otis Winnie, I haven't picked up an oblique holder in quite a while. I've done a lot of writing with fountain pens this year so far. But very, very little oblique writing. As always, when I travel, in my suitcase when I was in Philly and New York and everything, I had my dip pen, my inks, I have all of my stuff, my paper. Did I use any of it? Nope. Not at all. Thank you, Karina. I want to learn. It's just... there's a long list of things that I want to learn and things I want to get better at. And some of them are a little more priority, unfortunately, than engraving at this stage in the game. Oh, see, here's a good example. Fozzie was asking earlier. I just messed up. I was going to try to write engraved. Or engraving. But now my exit stroke is not nearly big enough for me to put a G here. So, whoops. Oopsies. Foresight. That's what you gotta have. Foresight. It's like when they say you gotta think before you talk. You should think before you write as well. I do not, most of the time. I just write and deal with it later. Whoa! What's that? We have an anonymous person just tipped me money. Thank you very much, anonymous person. That's fun. I didn't know that I thought Dizzy Bunny was also during the money thing. Thank you very much. I heard that sound effect and I thought it was in the song. I was gonna make a comment on it. saying, oh, this song had a weird little video game sound in it, but not from the song. Says the person who has 1, 2, 3, 4 in their name, in their first name. I appreciate that a lot, Sapphire Manga. Thank you so much. Do you have another name that you would like to be referred to as? Or Sapphire Manga, Sapphire Manga? Another name? I can call you whatever you... I won't promise that I'll remember. Lords. Alright. Again, I will probably forget, but for today, Lords it is. Oh, did anybody... Did just I hear the sound? I assume you guys could hear the sound as well. Maybe it was really quiet. It was just like a little bling. It's not quite as alerting as the Dizzy Bunny. I should put the Dizzy Bunny sound effect on everything, because it's the best. The Dizzy Bunny sound effect used to be, it's the Baymax la 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 la. And it used to be my ringtone in Los Angeles for a long, long time. And without fail, so many times, if it went off in my pocket, apparently to people who hear it, who don't know it as a ringtone, it sounds like I'm mumbling something, because it would always go off and people would say, sorry, what? Or they would respond to me like I just said something. I remember cab drivers. I was in the back of a cab ride chatting with a guy, and it went off and he, oh, sorry, what was that? I didn't hear that. But it sounds apparently like mumbling, blah, 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 blah. Like I'm saying something, apparently. So I stopped having it as my phone ringtone, because I got asked all the time, sorry, what? Excuse me? I didn't catch that? Say again? I think the trickiest part about your descenders, Fozzie, I'm certain we've talked about this before, but it's that it's multiple shapes of descenders. Like the first one, the F descender, we have that one. And then we have the two Zs, or Zs, for my Americans in the house, which can be very similar, but it's a different, obviously, it's a different shape. So it's the Zs. And then the Y, it ends up being much straighter on sort of the right-hand side than the Z, because the Z's not supposed to be straight on the right-hand side. So you have a bit of a... It's tricky. But you can finesse it. It is cool that the Y is at the end, because you can thread all the other ones with the Y after you do the two, which... I like that you can go if you want and thread through there, which is fun. And I guess the F is usually, I'm assuming, capitalized, so you don't really have to deal with the F descender all that often. Yeah, I guess that's, you say, three side by side. The fourth one, it doesn't really exist most of the time, I guess. What tool are you using for engraving, Fozzie? Wait. Oh, I have... So when engraving, I have a... what are they called? A rotary engraver, which is like for engraving glass and engraving that type of stuff. Is that what you were talking about, Oh Just Winnie? Or are you talking about gravers where you have like a sharpened metal tip and you're doing like a V cut in brass or something like that? I do glass rotary engraving, but I don't do metal type engraving. You just gotta be like me, Fozzie, and just write it wrong all the time. I think at least I can't count the number of times that I've signed my own name, incorrect letters, incorrect words, just terribly. Because I don't pay attention enough when I write my own name. Well, hello, Devin. Now, is Devin yawning because he's tired, because it's almost 11 o'clock where he is? Or is Devin yawning because he finds me boring? That's the question. Oh, metal engraving with so rotary engraving. Okay, got you. I think rotary engraving... Yeah, Devin, I know. Devin thinks I'm boring. Devin is a really good friend of mine from high school, for anybody who is in here and has never seen Devin pop in here before. Alright, Karina, good night. Thanks for hanging out. Yes, I have a nail drill. Where's my nail drill? My rotary engraver? Whatcha? Right here. Wait. I have another one. Oh, this one has a cable. Never mind. I can't pull this one nearly as easy. There's a cable, that's why I don't use it. I think I have 3 total somewhere. And then I also have an air-powered one as well that I don't use. That's a legit dental tool. Sounds crazy, but it spins very, very fast and engraves really, really nice. I don't use it. Yeah, get yourself some burrs so you can grind things. Oof. Rough E. I want to learn engraving with a graver. So, like metal engraving, like for jewelry engraving style. Like the way they would engrave the old copper plates and whatnot. That's what I want to learn how to do. What Skylar does. Skylar does it, Jake does it. I think those are the only 2. Abel Snail, a pen maker from Poland, does it. I think he's from Poland. Those are the only people that I can think of in the pen world that I know that do that style of engraving. Tons of people in the jewelry, gunstock engraving, that type of world. But I would love to learn that one day. And I have the vise, the everything but the graver, basically. And I just haven't got the graver yet because I want to learn to properly sharpen it and do all the things. And I don't have time to properly dive in that deep to something new. Unfortunately, not right now. Whoa. Let's try that again. So I feel like only a few people set their calligraphy goals after I went on a long discussion about my own. There's gotta be more people with calligraphy goals in here. Or maybe not. Maybe everybody's goals are not penmanship related. Is Devin still in here? Devin, what are your goals for 2025? I don't assume you have, or I assume you don't have calligraphy goals. See, Fozzie, when it comes to writing, I would take descenders over ascenders any day. I don't like ascenders. I wish I did, but I do not. I'll write it again. Wasn't the best execution. Hello, Annie. Did you leave and come back? Oh, there's an ad. Enjoy your advertisement, everybody. What were your ads for? What have we been talking about? Do we get ads for things we've been talking about? Is the algorithm listening? Oh, keep rolling over my headphone cable. Stop it. No need to apologize. A car ad? Ooh, YouTube's trying to sell you a car. What kind of car? YouTube doesn't try to sell me cars. It's given up. It's like this guy not buying a new car anytime soon. I think if you've ever wanted to learn engraving, like the rotary style, do it. Get an engraver, they're not expensive, get a cheap nail drill, and go to town. Get some wine bottles, go to town. Don't try to engrave anything that's carbonated with the lid on. It's a big mistake people make all the time. I feel like I've seen it made so many times. Bottles explode and whatnot, or champagne, things like that. But yeah, just grab some glass, grab a nail drill, get some really fine, really small burrs, and then dive in. It's a fun time. I did a lot of experimentation on old spice jars when I was practicing to see how smooth and fine I could get lines. I feel you, Fozzie. That's like, well, Chin. This is the second time I've brought up Chin this stream. This is a Chin stream. She always has, or she gets all sorts of stuff on her fingernails when she gets manicures and whatnot done. That would drive me bananas. The only thing I wish, I just clipped my nails the other day. I do sometimes like to leave my thumbnails not long, but just a little bit longer. About half the way to when I would normally cut them. If they have a little bit more length, then if I want to sit down and play the kalimba, I can. And it doesn't sound bad or hurt the pads of my thumbs. If I have a little bit more fingernail on the thumb, which I don't right now, so no kalimba playing for me. Hello, Stroke Art. Welcome, welcome. You didn't miss that much, just me writing a bunch of stuff. Just writing. Sometimes I realize I'm focusing on the chat a whole lot, and it's been a while since I've actually written anything in here. So I have to write something. My sister, my one sister grows like really, really strong natural nails. Her nails, they're like they've been like done by a professional, like filled and super thick and super snazzy. But they just, her nails naturally grow super thick and strong. It's interesting. To my knowledge, she's the only one in our family that's a thing for. Ooh, Annie, I didn't know you were learning Japanese. What method are you using to learn? Oof, ugly ass. Nail stuff. I remember when I was little, take the white school glue, and I would put a dab on my fingernail, and the goal was to let it just completely dry, and then it would just sort of be there. It is so hard to just not have anything disrupt still liquid or still squishy little bead of glue on your fingernail when you are a super energetic young boy or girl. I imagine it in general, a young individual, heck, old individual. I assume it'd be difficult for me now as well. You'll think of how many things you do with your fingernails or with your hands. until you have to protect glue and not let anything touch the little bead. But very rarely did the bead actually make its way to dry. Oh, awesome. Do you speak? You watch anime 1 hour. I like that the watching... Do you understand the anime? Do you speak Japanese? Or is studying Japanese just your excuse to watch anime for an hour every day? That's really a worst case scenario for where those hairlines ended up. Whoops. Here's a pro tip. If you're ever writing a T for like thank you or something like that, a T word that has an ascender in it, or if you're writing and you forget that it might have an ascender or it might not, but not a bad idea to write the T stem, whatever variation you go with, skip the crossbar, go into the rest of the word, looking for a T word in the chat. Oh, I realize I picked one without an ascender, but that's alright. I should have gone with thank you, since I said it. But if you always do that, then you'll always be able to know, like I would want to do normally, say like the crossbar that goes like that, but that's going to mess up with this G. So now I can choose, twerk, right. I can choose the variation I want to use that works best with this letter to fill this space. I don't know how people do anything with long fingernails, to be quite honest. It would drive me nuts. I wish watching anime helped me more with my Japanese. I don't think it helps that much. I watch a fair bit of anime from time to time. Misaligned tines ever so slightly. Well, hello, Mr. Grimes. Good evening to you. Happy 2025 to you as well. Congratulations on the launch of your liner tool. I have mine right here. Oh, covering the M. Watcha. Sorry, I just looked down at my page and realized I don't even know how this happened. I was writing together, but it's together. That's not a word. Together. Was I must have said the word then or something like that in the middle when I was writing it? Together. Whoops. mistakes were made. First stream of 2025. Full of mistakes. We'll make it through the dark and dangerous forest if we go on our own. Together as... together. Everybody, all together. Together. I like together. Ooh, Skeet. That is a very good question. What do you do when you think you can't get better? So, I will speak personally on what I do when, I will say rarely do I think that I can't get any better. I'm assuming what you mean by that is you've sort of hit like a ceiling. So I'm guessing, because you've been doing penmanship for a while, you can see what needs to improve, but you feel like you've sort of hit a ceiling in your own personal capability. I'm going to guess that's sort of the direction you're asking this question from. And I'll say, if I hit that point, if I hit a point where I feel like I haven't noticed or felt progression in a little while, honestly, and this might not be amazing advice, but one of the first things is really to take a break. And now that doesn't mean like, don't write for a week, don't write for a month. A break could be as much as a day or two. But during that break, try to fill a break with things that are super inspiring. So for me, I will take breaks from writing and I will study. I will dive in and I'll spend entire days just looking at a few pages of a scrapbook or samples of writing or things like that. 'Cause it's neat when I see old samples of writing, not of my own, old traditional samples of writing, I get really inspired to write better. And when I'm looking at the writing, not intentionally, but when I look at the writing, I don't see a reason why my writing shouldn't be able to look like that. Like when I look at old school ornamental penmanship, scrapbooks and whatnot, yes, they were phenomenal, but with the exception of some crazy flourishes and some very, very pristine pieces, usually when I look at old pieces, especially just random correspondence and random scrapbooks from some of the lesser known penmen, they're beautiful. So I start thinking, cool, what is the difference between this beautiful piece and the writing that I'm creating? Why, when I look at my own writing, do I not think, this is gorgeous, I could stare at this for hours? Where when I look at this old piece by no-name penman, I could stare at it for hours and I find it so gorgeous. I think there's something there where they're potentially more similar than we think, but then there's the nuance. There's the fluidity of line and things like that. And when I really get into that, not analyzing the vintage piece per se, but just looking and sort of, never really worded this way before, but not to analyze, to think, oh, they did this, and all this tiny minutia, but more so absorb what that piece of writing is. Like what it feels like, what it looks like, what it is. Think about how the penman wrote it. Again, not super analyzing, like, oh, this muscle must have been, don't get, for me anyways, not super analyzing what happened, but I like to try to absorb a page of writing. And then next time I sit down at my desk, I am A, super inspired because I saw that. I convinced myself, well, there's no reason I can't do this. So let me sit down and play. Let me sit down and now write. And then also when you absorbed all of that, whatever that is, from that old piece or from that PDF or whatever it is that you're looking at and studying from, try to live that. Yeah, that penman likely, they were so fluid. For most of the hairline strokes that penmen back in the day did, there is zero tension in their muscles whatsoever in their arm. So try to embody that. That might show you a moment where, oh, if I try to do even like this lowercase I as loose and carefree in my movement as they did, I clearly don't have the control. Cool. Here's now an exercise that I can work on. And I'm not drudging or dreading working on it because I'm filled with that excitement and inspiration from that piece, and then I'm just trying to embody whatever I think that penman was like when they wrote it. So I don't know if that's helpful to you at all, but that's how, because many times, I'll be 100% honest, my writing has never looked as good as I want it to look. I have an insanely critical eye for what I want it to look like. But many times I've hit a point where I don't know how to make my writing look the way I want it to look. I think a lot of the times, especially with like the lowercase and whatnot, I don't lack the control to do it. Something is missing. What is that thing? It could be something specific that somebody who analyzes could tell me. But to me, I feel like what is missing is that... most penmen back in the day sort of had. And it's the casual relaxation that we don't have today because we try too hard, basically. And it's not bad that we try, but we try too hard. We didn't train it from a young age like they did, so it's not second nature. It doesn't just fall out of our muscles like it did for a lot of the penmen back in the day. So yeah, trying to embody that. There's my super long-winded answer for you. Hopefully that wasn't too much of a rant for anybody else. Take that advice, take it for what it is. That's what I would advise. Also, reach out to people. If there's somebody who has an aspect of their writing has something that you see in theirs but you don't see in yours, reach out. Because they might be able to see something that you don't see. You can't fix or change things that you don't see as... I don't like saying wrong, but if you don't know or recognize that something is lacking, then how can you add it, or how can you change it or tweak it so that it looks the way you want? Sometimes we're blind to a lot of that stuff, so ask other people. Send a message to me, send a message to David, send a message to countless other penmen. The Discord, honestly, the Creatorium is a great place for that, because people will give you advice from all sorts of angles. I love when I see in there people will post a piece of work and say, one of my favorite questions is, what's the first thing you notice? Because if somebody asks me to correct things, I usually start with just one thing. Like, well, the first thing I noticed is blah, blah, blah. Was that intentional? Was that not intentional? Blah, blah, blah. And then we sort of work from there, little piece by piece. Yeah. Ask around. Get inspiration. Treat a study session less like study, and like I said, more like try to absorb. This sounds so like, I don't know, this hippy dippy potentially, but when I look at a piece of writing or like an old sample of writing in an old scrapbook, for me, it's less about studying the forms, what they did, exactly how they do it, and it's more just about, I just want to absorb that piece, and then I want whatever that page of writing is to live in my body, and then almost subconsciously, I want to then be able to create it. That's the dancer in me, I think, I just want to express and just I want to absorb what they did and then sort of repeat it in my own way. So treat it less like analysis study and more just look at it like a picture book. Look at it like a little kid who looks at a book when they can't read. Absorb those pictures. Just dive in and don't analyze, just love it. Yeah, get back to the base of how beautiful, gorgeous, and how much you love it, and then let that fuel your inspiration and drive to pick up the pen and dive back in. So much talking. Hello, Joshua. Sorry, you made your comment a while ago, and I was answering Skeet for quite a while there. Ah, yes, you got your liner. It's great. It's a good liner. I will be honest, I don't use mine a ton, but that's not because it's not great. It's right here for a reason. I just don't line things very often. Yeah, shipping is crazy these days. And especially in current times, it's potentially just gonna get worse at the moment. Well, I think appreciating, and I like using the term absorbing, just loving penmanship is so, I don't even want to say helpful. I don't even know that it helps my writing at all. But I mean, there's a reason I went to the New York Public Library and just sat down at a table from 10 in the morning. Was it 10? 10 or 11? Can't remember. Until they closed at 5. And just sat and stared at a book. No camera, no anything. Just looking. Because it's so beautiful. I just want to appreciate. Yeah, the penman's soul. Exactly. It's great. It's one of my favorite things whenever I'm with Neil McCaffrey and we're sort of working when we were rebindering some of the Iampith collection the past couple years. When we're going in, one of his favorite things, it's not really necessarily about the lettering and whatnot. It's the forms and whatnot are obviously noticed and you see the really beautiful stuff. But his favorite thing, and I apologize, Neil, if you see this and I'm misquoting, but I don't feel like I am. His favorite thing is the correspondence, when they would write and what they would talk about. Like some of their letters were very formal and very, take this, blah, 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 renew my subscription. But oftentimes they would dive into just friend communication, just chatting about things. And it's that sort of that little insight into their world, which is just so fascinating. Not about the penmanship. We all know the penmanship's beautiful. It's always going to be beautiful. It's just, like you said, good for the penman's soul to just to absorb it. I mean, they lived it. I mean, many penmen today, we live it, and we don't live it to even close the extent that they did back then. They lived and breathed it. So, trying to embody that, basically. But just get inspired. For me, I will never improve if I'm not inspired to improve. And I'm not going to be inspired to improve if I'm not inspired to write. Luckily, I'm almost always inspired to write. But, yeah. Long-winded advice. Whoa! I'm not trying to do Madara's Batwing script. Thank you very much. short story long. This is the penultimate sip of tea. There's one left. We will wait and savor it. Whoa. This nib feels like it's going crazy. I need to look at it under a loop real quick. Or my ink is just too liquidy or something. What X side am I writing? That is a very good question, Annie. I would guess we're about the 2mm mark at the moment. But let's double check. On average, when I write on lined paper, I'm sitting between usually 1.5 and 2, I think somewhere around there. But when I don't have lines, like this, I tend to write a little bit bigger when I'm on stream. But I would guess... Is that even 2mm? Yeah, we're about that. O is about 2mm. 2mm is about as big as I write. It's 2mm or smaller usually, depending on the pen and whatnot. These hairlines are kind of no good though. This nib is sharper than these hairlines. Oh. My tines are kind of doing that a little bit. Which is odd. How did they get... They're not bent. But they're... Why aren't the tips touching? Ooh. That's good to know, Fozzie. That's fun. My absolute favorite has for quite a while now been... Whoa, we got an ad coming in 1 minute. I'm going to try to write this before the ad comes in. And then I'm going to tweak my nib if I can, I think, a little bit. Is this one. So same start as that last one. But then... Whoops. Like so. That's my longtime favorite T. Or F. Oh, I hate that that line is going slightly down. Oh, hey, Cyril. Cyril? No, Lene. Hello, Lene. Welcome, welcome. I didn't see you come in here. Nice to see you. Now, you might not have seen me say nice to see you, because you might be watching an ad. I didn't time that hello very well. Mattress ad. Uh-oh. Don't listen, Lori. That's just the internet. That's just Big Mattress trying to tell you it's time to go to bed. Don't listen to Big Mattress. Say no to Big Mattress. So what's going on with these tines? Why are they not touching? That is bothersome. The very tip. For some reason. Yeah, don't listen. Not listening is the way to go, I would say. That being said, I can't have a super late night tonight. I got a big day tomorrow. If anybody didn't see my post on Instagram, you're here, so I'm assuming you did. But if you didn't see my second story of the evening, I am teaching the first class in my next Mont Blanc series tomorrow morning, where we're diving into movement writing, which is going to be like business penmanship, but I'm very, very excited because it's my first time in one of the Mont Blanc series adding movement or doing what I sort of consider like proper movement writing. Tomorrow's class is going to primarily removing a lot of the letter forms and things like that, and just focusing on movement exercises. And then as the weeks progress, we'll be moving into the alphabets and whatnot. But diving into movement writing, it's going to be really fun. Thank you very much. Should be fun. Luckily, it's recorded, so if you can't be there live, it still exists. Obviously, I know it's more fun live, but better not live than nothing, maybe. Hairs and fibers and all sorts of stuff. Leave my nib alone. I'll be using a Meisterstück Extra Fine for the class, or I might use. I have my personal Mont Blanc nib with the MrMGWard crazy fine grind, which I might use, but that's finer than most people will have. So I'll probably use a nib that more other people in the class will have, something just in a standard extra fine. Yeah, Inspire Writing is the branch in with Mont Blanc. They have classes happening all the time. That feels better. Oh, I forgot my spinning top is here. It's not charged. Is it even in frame? I don't think it's charged. Probably not going to spin for very long. Yeah, I'll be using an EF, and my EF is loaded with my favorite gray ink, which is Mont Blanc's Cool Gray. I've used a Mont Blanc gray ink in my fountain pens for many years now. I used to have an old, doesn't exist anymore, I don't believe, but it was called Oyster Gray, I think is what it was called. And I quite loved it. The Philly Pen Show was amazing. I am a huge fan of pen shows. Philly specifically, it's the only real pen show I go to. It is run by some really good friends of mine, so I always go there and I help. I obviously teach a seminar. I did a Spencerian for fountain pen users class there, which is really fun. Just a 3-hour dive in, which went really well. It sold out, which is always cool. But for the rest of the weekend or the week, I am one of the guys that hands their wristbanding people and letting people in and signing people up and whatnot. So it's a whole weekend of just chatting with people and strangers coming in and being goofy and whatnot, which is very, very fun. It's a great time. It's honestly one of my favorite weeks of the entire year. I have like dance friends, penman friends, and then pen friends. And it's my week that I get to hang out with my pen friends. And it makes me really, really happy, and it's a good time. If you're ever in the area and you're interested in getting into fountain pens at all, Philly Pen Show, any pen show, honestly, I highly recommend checking out pen shows in your area. Obviously, some are better than others, some are bigger than others, some are crazy, some are really chill. But pen shows are really, really fun, and the pen community is some of the coolest people. They're great. I'm pretty sure Oyster Gray is very, very similar to the existing Cool Gray. I think. I've never tried Gray Flannel from Private Reserve. Oh, Swan Illusion. Is that the one that you asked me to look into when I was at the boutique, Fozzie? I feel like that was that one. Discontinued. Alright, David. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you soon. Have a wonderful evening and sleep well. Whoops. I mean, it's the best thing in the world. Meeting people that are into the same thing you're into, and then just nerding out, especially at a conference when you're the only people there or people that are into the same things you're into. It's amazing. I've never used gray flannel before. It's like soup in the middle of gray and mud. So it's got a little bit of like a tinge of brown in it. Would you call that grud? Or maybe... Murray. Murray. That'd be such an annoying color if it was actually called Murray. Nobody would pronounce it right, and nobody would be able to understand it. Murray. What's your favorite color? Murray. What's that? Mud gray. Murray. That's not even funny. That's just a stupid thing to say. Murray. But I can't get it out of my head, and my brain finds it hilarious. Murray. Watch the show, Murray's Anatomy. I don't assume my friend Jen is in the chat right now, but if she is, hey Jen, how's Murray's? Jen is a friend of mine that I text all the time and say, how's Gray's? Because I just always assume she's chilling at home watching Grey's Anatomy all times of the day and night. Grumud. But that's got the full mud. It can't have the full mud. It can be like growled. Agreed. Agreed, Lene. Mray. It's such a Mray. It's almost like a it's like a hum. Mray. It's more of a like. It feels more of a sound than a word. Mray. Oh man. Silly. Mray. Gramoid? Gramoid. There, we got the G-R-A-N, the Y, and the M-U-D. We're just spacing it out a little bit. Yeah, Grud follows the rules. Murray doesn't. Ooh. See now with Gumuri. Is it Gumuri? Or is that G like Nugent? Is it like is that more just Murray? And the G is sort of Murray. Silent in the beginning. And it just happens to be spelt. I think I like that. Or is it Gumuri? Gumuri. No, that's too much separation. Gumuri. Gumuri? Gumuri. Gumuri to you as well. Gumuri, everybody. Burry or Fury? Guri? Guri? Or Gumuri? Oh, this is ridiculous. Just making stupid sound effects. And enjoying it way too much. Stream is over. I'm not writing anymore. I'm just going to sit here and say random ways to combine gray and mud. Or is it like grandma? You could say G-Ma. What up, G-Ma? What up, G Murray? G Murray. Or G Murray? G Murray. Or G Marie. Oh, all the pilots are getting retired. Or sorry, all the grays are getting retired. Well, you know, once they get old and gray, they gotta retire them. Like my beard. Once it gets old and gray. It could happen, Lene. Probably not far off. Oof, I wrote that huge massive writing. G Marie. I like G Marie. They are very telling. It's true. I've been in loving some old samples of writing that don't actually have spaces. They just do extended spacing where their word spacing goes. And I love it. It looks so cool. I just put a space in habitually so often that I find it really difficult to write. I have to be very cautious because I space my own writing out so much already. Writing like a running hand type of script most of the time. that it's... Yeah, because normally, yeah, I write very spaced out already. And I don't want to make my letter spacing or my word spacing super spaced out. Hello, Walker. Good evening. How you doing? Ah, true, Lene. I don't mind getting mammed and sirred. That's okay with me. I mean, it'd be weird if somebody mammed me. But it has happened. Back when I had long hair, it used to happen more often. Can't complain. First stream of the year. I've been doing mostly business penmanship type writing so far this year. I haven't done a whole lot of OP, so it feels nice to make some shades. Also, speaking of writing, I haven't mentioned this yet this stream. Everybody knows that we're now 4 days into February. That means we are 4 days into NaNoWriMo, International Correspondence Writing Month. If you know what that is, are you joining in the challenge this year? If you don't know what that is, it's basically just a challenge to try to write a piece of correspondence. Could be a sticky note, could be a postcard, it could be a full-on letter, every day of the month for the entire month of February. So we're on day 4. I always think you could do it. You could do just 1 day a week, all your letters for that week. On the last day of the month, you could write 30 letters on the last day of the month, or you could write 1 a day for the whole month. But that is the goal, just to get some correspondence going. I'm trying to think of who wrote the examples that I saw. I know Mataraz did do it from time to time, I believe. But it's... For me to... I have to intentionally not space out my own writing, because I write, as I already mentioned, quite spaced out. But if I want this to look good and not take up... I mean, the first line will say like, "Hi, how are?" And then I'll be finished the first line already. You could do more than 3 per week, Walker. I feel like you write so fast. Doesn't have to be like a crazy long schnazzy letter. I'm 1 day behind so far. I've done 3 so far this month. Just small letters. They were just on small Rhodia pad. What's that? A5? What's the smaller one? A5? I think? No, not trying to copy their correspondence. Just actually trying to write people letters. For right now, I'm just sort of thinking this script specifically, I've seen correspondence and writing of people that they don't actually use a space, and I think it looks so cool. There's a good moment, though, where this space is probably too long if I was going to do this style of writing. That'd actually be a great exercise for practicing penmanship, to try to replicate a vintage old master's letter or correspondence every day for the month. That I could see doing one a day would be quite a tall tale, or quite a challenge. Ma'am, I say sir a lot. I don't think I say ma'am. I guess I do, now that I think about it. I say sir a lot. Good day, sir. Hello, sir. I think for ma'am, I replace ma'am with miss, I think, a lot of the times. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, miss. I think I say miss, which is less formal. But I think that comes out of my mouth quicker. Thanks, man. Yeah, don't say thanks, ma'am, to a man. They might not enjoy that. Or they might. I know I do say sir all the time. Whoa, what's going on with my hairline? I think I stopped writing and was talking too long. Whoa. Mirror image and so like super, super close together, but mirror image. Yikes. I think the penman whose writing would be the hardest to read. Well, number one would be Dennis. I think. W.E. Dennis. But that's just because the way he wrote was just wackadoodle. It's hard to decipher. But the style of writing that I feel like is the most difficult to read would be F.B. Courtney's, I can't even do it, but he would write back slanted. I can't do it fast, but I can do it slow probably. Back slanted, but super long and crazy tight. I think that's how he wrote it. So it's interesting though, because when you see the whole page, it's tough to read. It looks like gibberish. But when you look at it this way, if you look like along the paper, it looks much more legible. It's bonkers. To me, it's the fact that it's... Well, I'm not good at backhand writing. Backhand writing, I just have to get used to. But yeah, super long, crazy, crazy tight. It looks like an optical illusion a little bit. There's no shades in the one that I'm thinking of, I don't think. Walker, I got quite a few photos. They're from my phone, so they're not probably the best quality in the world. But once I get them properly dumped off my phone, I'll put together a PDF and I'll post it on the Create Room for you. That old, the 1600s manuscript, well, 16 and 1700s. For compliments? What do you mean for compliments? So they can't read them? Backhand writing just feels so wrong. Oh, backslanted compliment. So I'll just write at the bottom of the letter a PS, and then I'll make it backslanted. I'll make a backslanted compliment. Compliment. Good thinking. Two ways you could do that, Walker, I guess. Are you wanting like streaming just in the Creatrium or on YouTube? If you're on the Creatrium, you can you share screen. But if you're wanting to do that on YouTube, you just get in OBS, so in broadcasting software like OBS, you just set up a window capture, and just one of the windows on your computer, you make that be, it's like it's a camera of a window on your computer. So it's the same thing when I'm sharing a PDF or something like that. I will open a PDF in another window, and then but have that window be one of my capture sources, so that I can turn on that and share that and talk. I can help you. I can discuss that further if you'd like. If you want to message me privately, and if you're having trouble. If you're not having trouble, then don't worry about it. But that sounds great. So you could talk through manuscripts and whatnot. I need to get a new computer one of these days. Oi, oi, oi. I've been trying to, when I'm doing photo editing and all that kind of stuff, if I want to try to stream it, my computer cannot handle all those things happening at once, unfortunately. My computer has become a one-trick pony, or it can't multitask very much anymore. I work it pretty hard. Yeah, I would say Instagram Live is probably your best bet in that regard then. Harder to stream your screen, I believe, on Instagram Live. Is it possible to share your screen on IG Live? Oh, ad time. That's where I started late night lives, were on YouTube. Back in the day. Sneaky ad break. Yeah, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't notice the little... It gives me a 1-minute warning on the screen, but I sometimes don't notice it until at the very, very end, and then I say, oh, ad, ad coming, when the ad is there. Not much of a warning. Yeah, finding a time is the tricky bit. You could always do what I do and pick a time that is good for not a lot of people. The time that I use is bad for most of the people that would like to watch my videos, but it's good for me. Yeah, I want to get a new Dell, but Dell has changed the lineup of laptops that I use from them and that I love. And I'm hoping they have a new one coming out, and I'm hoping they fix some of the things that they kind of did wonky on the last one. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Not sure. I'll see if I can get my computer to hold out a little bit longer, because I'm not eager to spend that much money on a computer at the moment. They are expensive with the specs that I want. Why did that happen? Who does theirs at 6 a.m.? Or at 6 a.m. your time, I guess. It's probably not 6 a.m. their time. Maybe. Oof, 10K is too much for me. I think my new computer will probably cost me around 3 or 4, which is also too much, but I'm anticipating that being the cost. Shannon Makes. I do not know Shannon Makes. Or at least I'm not familiar with the name. Good night, Sarah. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you on the next one. Did I finish my tea? Oh, I did. I didn't notice. I wasn't paying attention when I drank the last sip. I think I'm probably going to finish this page, and then I think I have to cash in and go to bed as well tonight. I got an early morning tomorrow. And I got a few things I got to do before I go to bed tonight still. I don't want to go to bed, but I should be responsible. As not fun as that is. Being responsible is way less fun, though. Awesome. I'm glad you figured it out, Walker. I agree, Fozzie. Who needs sleep? How is sleep actually with your back, Fozzie? Do you sleep okay? Or has it been tough sort of finding a comfortable position and all that kind of stuff? Do I have time this weekend? Saturday? Possibly, if you want to do something on Saturday. I leave town on Sunday. I don't know what time my flight is, but I'm out of town next week. I leave Sunday to Friday. But Saturday. What is the Japanese word for staying up late? As a sort of rebellion at having to go to bed. Oof, Lene, I do not know Japanese nearly good enough for that. My Japanese is not at that level as of yet, unfortunately. True. It is a good concept. I am sort of usually on the side of things where I intend to go to bed early, and then I forget to go to bed, and then before I know it, it's 2, 3, 4 in the morning. That happens. A little too often. Last night, prime example. I wasn't up super late, but I was intending to go to bed early, and at 10:30 at night, my brain randomly decided to get a stack of 8-foot boards that I had in my hallway, get out my 2 sawhorses, set them up in my living room, and cut the boards down to 38-inch pieces for a project. Just randomly. In the middle of the night, turn my apartment into a workshop. I call it going into workshop mode. Ah, getting up again. Yeah, that makes sense. You'll just have to lay down and not get up for a while. Tell Chip and the kids you just gotta hang out and they have to serve you. If only it could be that easy. New Dremel saw station. I have not. Ugh. Why am I so crappy at that capital D? I use a Japanese handsaw for most everything. Enjoy your errands, Fozzie. Have a wonderful day. It was nice to see you. We'll see you on the next one. Oh, quick, are you still doing pajama jams? Is that still a thing? Or potentially not right now, because your back is hurt. Yeah, aren't you supposed to be laying around doing nothing? Making the kids do everything for you? That doesn't sound like errands. Hey, Carl. Ah, you got your penman's journal? Or you saw the penman's journal? It was very exciting that Iampith was able to make that acquisition. I was very happy to be a part of it, to help in whatever way I could make that happen. I can't think of many better places that I would prefer that collection to go, aside from on my own bookshelf, but I don't have the kind of money for that type of an acquisition. And I'm very happy to see it all in one spot and not, say, parted out on the internet or something like that. Actually, I have a stack of random paper. I don't know if it's writing paper. I don't know if it's good paper, bad paper, but it's paper that I want to start using. Nah, I would love, as much as I would love to have an awesome penmanship collection, that would be great. I have decided, or I've sort of resigned myself to the fact that I will be a digital hoarder when it comes to collections. I am far too frugal for this current world of collecting and people hunting for penmanship things. I have, yeah, too frugal. So I am a digital hoarder. I will try to have digital copies of absolutely everything. And so far, I'm not doing too shabby. Ooh, what paper is this? I think this is just regular crummy printing paper. It's very absorbent. Yeah, it feels like a sponge a little bit. It's not the best, that's for sure. Ugh, no, I don't like these hairlines. Like I said, I have this stack of paper that I've decided that it's gonna be here, and I'm just gonna start from the top, grab a sheet of paper, and try to write on it. If it's good, I will use it. If it's no good, well, I'll basically just chuck it in recycling. But it's a big stack of paper that is just, there's some rhodia in there somewhere. It's unsorted, what should be relatively good paper, I think. I wish I had a fireplace. I do not have a fireplace. That'd be great. I burn incense that smells like a fireplace, but I do not have a fireplace. It is my favorite smell ever. Alright, I realize I'm not in the mood for fountain pen writing right now. Oh, and I have white ink going. This paper won't work. But I think it is time for me to call it a night. Time to call it a night. Yep. It's a short little one for this week. We'll have some more longer streams. Now that we've ripped the band-aid off of the 2025 streaming. Ooh. Fun. I have not seen it. One day I'll have to dive in. But I have not. I know a little bit about it. Oh, not the anime. Well, then definitely not. Stretch. Oh yeah, my spinning top stopped spinning long ago. Well, on behalf of me and the bad pylon who's poking out of the screen over there, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out with me. As always, this has been a blast. I hope everybody's having a wonderful start to your 2025. Sorry that it took me a month to dive into our late night lives, but we will be back in full swing one of these days. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, there is no stream next week. I will be out of town next week, but the week after that, we should be back on. If you have any ideas, themes, stuff you'd like to visit or do, let me know. And chuck them in the description here, or reach out on Instagram and let me know what they are. And we can explore some fun new ideas and make the 2020 words, make the 2025 year of late night lives more exciting than ever. Anyways, make sure that you are falling in love with the process, and don't forget, everybody, that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. Good night, have a wonderful day, or night, or morning, or whatever time it is for you. Hashtag end screen.